Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Denonu, and this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm sitting here with my cousin, who has seen Coming to America 2, and I have not seen it. So I'm just going to be drilling and asking her questions about this movie, because since I haven't seen it, I've been hearing nothing but bad things about it, saying about it's not as good as the old one, it's relying too much on nostalgia, all that stuff. So, Miss Reese, how was
Yes.
how was the movie? Just you know.
All right, I'm going to be honest. When I first seen the movie, 10, 15 minutes in, I'm like, no, they fucked it up. Why they do it? No, why?
What you mean? Like the story? Bringing it back after 30-some years?
Well, I'm a super fan, so I know every, line, every joke. I know all the nostalgia. So they definitely do draw on the nostalgia. But if you're 30 plus like I am, it was cute. As you watch the movie, it becomes funnier and funnier. So by the end, I was like crying, laughing, like sex chocolate. But in the beginning, you're like, oh, they about to fuck it up again. They should just left it alone. It's like a Friday, 2021. But I feel like for the younger generation, it gives a glimpse into like true comedy and what we loved about the first movie.
Okay. Speaking of comedy, they brought back all the older characters and stuff like that they used to dress up and play. Did you like that in comparison to like the new comedy stuff and then the new comedians and stuff that they brought in?
So old characters, I definitely respect the fact that everyone's still alive and well to come back. So Vanessa Bell Calloway, hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
How they threw her into the plot. Of course, Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall. You had to have them to recreate the barbershop scene. As far as the new characters, Leslie Jones, hands down, killed it. Like, she was my favorite part of the movie. The new Prince, what was his name? See, I can't remember his name. What was his name?
You sure he was good if you can't remember his name?
He was good, but he had to grow on me because it was kind of weird. Like, he had no resemblance.
Mm.
I was about to say mama's baby, father's maybe, because he just had a high top, pretty / fade, but he kind of had pretty hair. He didn't look like he could come from Leslie Jones and Eddie Murphy. So, but he had
saying
to know
they
how
should
to
have got
act.
somebody who looked dark skinned, who looked like
you need to have somebody look like they came from two people. It was nothing African about him. So that kind of threw me off. But he had to know how to act. So can't be picky. As far as the King's Daughters, they did a great job. I like how they incorporated new actors because a lot of the actors I've never seen in movies before. Some of them you've seen, like the one chick. I believe she's the girl off of the Old Guard, the black girl that's in the military and becomes the new one. I believe that's her. I like that because that was a good movie. I like the fact that they tried to stick with the roots because if they wouldn't have incorporated any of like the old classic stuff like "To Be Loved," like they really put a lot of the stuff that people remember from the movie in there.
Yeah,
so I respected that, but they still tried to make it new school to make it relevant for the the youngins that don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, that's true because I remember you were showing me the scene where they was doing all the dancing and stuff.
That threw me off.
And I was like,
it's getting a little corny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my popcorn.
I was thinking that, but I ain't saying nothing. But
I was thinking it the whole time. I was like, every time I cringed, I was like, oh, they about to mess it up. And then they kind of like caught themselves. I think they were in borderline trying a little hard to some of the most funny parts were like the effortless parts that had nothing to do with the old Coming to America. And then some of the corny parts were when they tried to like link everything together. The only part of the movie that threw me off is the part where they try to explain how he came to have a son, which they kept saying, my bestest son. They never showed us that part in number one.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they had to think of like, what's the most funniest way we can say he procreated a child?
Yeah. It would be different if they had a scene in the older movie that showed him walk off with somebody, but they
like hinted, like cliffhanger, like left us thinking, like hold up,
like like in comedy movies where they always make the joke about like, oh, you slept with that ugly chick, and then like if they did something like that later, and Arsenio Hall was making fun of him for doing it.
That's the only part that I was like, writers, y'all could have been more creative than that. So, but it was funny.
I mean, they could have. I just thought of another one. They could have had something with their plane instead of landing in New York first. They had a layover before New York and had, like he slept with somebody in a hotel or something.
Right. And they shouldn't have used weed. They use weed. Like, he don't even smoke.
What?
That's what, so you haven't seen it. So, so you remember in the club scene where she's like, I worship the devil. They call me Joan of Arc. And my name is Peaches. All them crazy women, of all of them, I would have picked one of them because they were talking to him. So the whole connection between how he had the child was Arsenio Hall was bitching because he got tired of cleaning up and working at McDonald's. He's like, let me hurry up and let me find this lady real quick. He said, any vagina. He said, you were searching for your dream girl. I was searching for just any plain old vagina so you get this out the way. So he actually plotted to go up to Leslie Jones and one of her homegirls and brought them back as like a double team date.
Don't tell me he gave it to Bill Cosby.
No. Prince Akeem got Leslie Jones and he got this other actress, which she's well known, I just can't remember. But they come back to the pad. This is why I was still trashy. This is before he fixed it up. And she gave him some weed, blow in his face. He said, all I remember is smoking some of her herbal
cigarettes
or herbal traditions. And then a wild boar came in the room. She jumped him. She got a pumpkin candle talking about, yeah, you like pumpkin pie? You about to get a big slice. And then jumps on him. And then that's how he's procreated. So it was, I mean, they tried, but they kind of dropped the ball right there. But it was funny, nonetheless.
Okay. What about the overall story with, because I seen that they had Wesley Snipes in there, some kind of warlord or something?
Yes, so Wesley Snipes is the brother of the so he's pissed off that he left his sister at the altar.
But that was like 20-something years ago. I'm assuming, right?
30. But the best part of the movie was she's still ooh-oohing. They bring her in there. She like this. Look what you did to my sister. She like, ooh, like she's like a wounded dog. That's like the best part of the movie because they got Vanessa Bell Calloway looking crazy. Like if she ain't stopped jumping since that day. Anything you want, my highness. Wait right there. So
she never stopped hopping.
Never stopped hopping. I think she still got on the same dress. Face looked like she looked like the lady off Beloved. All that. She looked crazy. So I almost thought they had just hilarious dressed up as her because I'm like, that's how terrible she looked. And that's her twin. So that was the hands down the most funniest nostalgia that they brought back. And it was like effortless. But Wesley Snipes plays like a revolutionary wannabe king. And the only way to dethrone a king is he doesn't have heir, you kill him. So James Earl Jones, before he dies, he tells him like he coming for you. He's gonna assassinate you. You need to do something. The only good thing is that he has a daughter, which is played by Tiana Taylor, and they're part of like a rebellion. So he tells him like, look, you ever marry my daughter to this son, or we gonna have problems. But of course, in the whole theme of true love and how
don't want to force people into marriage and stuff,
right? He ends up liking his barber, which is, a really nice, sweet girl who gives him ambition and tells him how it is a little shoulder to lean on. But it's Tiana Taylor, so she aggressive, and he's just trying to be the man. So he goes through his man journey and takes her back to America to, jump the broom and elope.
Mm.
So it's just a whole journey of him finding himself, asking him about his past stories, and getting his advice on like what he should do. Should he choose true love, or should he, continue in their tradition? But I like the part that I like about it is he has a daughter. He has 3 daughters.
Mm.
The oldest one's been training her whole life to become a queen, so whoever she marries will be king. But because he comes along, it's like competition. So at first she was against him, sabotaging him, but then they start to work together because he has to pass all these tests to become, the new prince. So it was good. Overall, it was good.
Okay. How did it end? Like, did the prince stay in America with his new chick, or did he marry the Wesley Snipes?
So they take the private jet from the party back to America, go to this janky like Las Vegas like flyby drive through wedding, and of course, who the pastor? The Lord loved me, and I love the Lord. If I'm wrong, I don't want to be right. He's the pastor. And then he comes in, Prince Akeem comes in and stops him like, listen, if you want to do this, I'm in support. And she's like, listen, I don't want to get married here. I want to get married in the palace. Like, I love you. I'll marry you here, but I deserve better. So then they end up together. He picks true love. And a little unrealistic, but pretty much everybody at the end, it's just one big party. I'm talking about got
Wesley Snipes was just cool, like
right. Oh, that's the part I forgot. So while he gone taking care of his business, Wesley Snipes try to come in there and take over. Man, them girls whooped the fur off his ass. By the time he came back, he was with it. He was like,
whoop some common sense into him.
No, they beat his ass. they recreated the scene from the beginning with the sticks. They whooped that ass. The daughter was like, we got a problem now.
Damn.
So the ending is probably by far the best part. The beginning, so his father knows he's gonna die. So he's like, I want a funeral. But instead of doing a traditional funeral, he does a funeral while he's still alive, but ends up dying at the funeral. So he has a casket. It's almost called like a celebration of life. Okay. He's on his deathbed. He's in this like big dumbass stone casket. And this is the part where I was like, oh, they about to fuck it up. You got, not Patty LaBelle, Gladys Knight singing Midnight Train to Georgia. You got Salt and Pepper.
That's too much. It's too much blackness at that point. It's
in Vogue, like, yeah,
come on.
With a king.
Oh, come on.
Really? That's the part where I was like, man, I paid $15.99 for Amazon Prime this month for this bullshit. So then they kind of turned it around. So that was like the corny part, but the last part was the funniest, which caught me by surprise. I was crying laughing. You had John Legend playing the piano. They brought back Randy Watson. By far the funniest thing, because he all old, bloated. I don't even know how he could get older, because he was old and bloated 30 years ago. So he's even worse. His skin gray. But when I say that party, everybody was in there. I know they had to be really high in real life. Because you had everybody in there just dancing, and then it cuts into like the credit scenes where you see like the making mistakes. That was probably like the time when they just let them cut loose or whatever. But as far as like the family dynamic, I mean, it's true to life. He brought a baby mother home. Wife was mad as I don't know why. He's
as she should be.
I had a long flight, and I really haven't. Pretty much, can we fuck? She looked at him like, nigga, please. He like, this is some bullshit.
Okay. All right, I got two last questions here. Did they bring back Jerry Curl from the original?
Soul Glow.
Yes, Soul Glow.
The son or like the family?
Any one of them. Did they make a call back to that joke?
Who the hell wear Jerry curls anymore?
That's what would be funny if they still had it.
Thank God nobody had a Jerry curl. Okay. The only Soul Glow throwback is that poster in that old ass shop. They pretty much kept the barbershop exactly the same.
Okay.
even they show Queens and they say Queens really done gentrified. That T-shirt, whatever, Bubs, same banner, same
everything, yeah.
Everything. Everybody just look like a teeny bit older. Rick Ross, I was waiting to see what part he was playing the movies, saying as though they used his house. So he's the like right hand militia man to Wesley Snipes. So he got like a little cameo, 5-second cameo. And the crazy thing is, he fit right in because he looked like he could do guerrilla warfare anytime. I think it's the beard. But the thing I like, Leslie Jones just made the movie. You know, he's like, hey, sister wife. So.
Okay, if you had to rate it between 1 and 10, what would you give it? With 10 being your perfect movie.
I was Cisco and Ebra. Reese Cup, give it like a 7.5.
Okay, so average movie, but
if I'm sober, a 7.
Okay.
If I'm really high, almost an 8.
Okay, so it's funny enough if you're inebriated.
Yeah, I had about 3 drinks, and it took me to the end and started crying laughing. I'm really a fan, so I wanted to give it a chance.
Okay.
So, but it was pretty good. Tracy Morgan funny as hell. Oh no, I forgot that scene. You know, the royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Yes.
So Prince the King wake up. They wake him up. Ah! He's like,
so this is the new son.
This is the new son.
Okay.
His name not a king. I just keep calling him Prince the King because I can't remember the boy name. Rasha, something. So he wake up. So of course, you ready to get bathed? He like, all 3 of y'all? They like, yeah. He like, naked? They like, yeah. He like, Mama! It's 3 women in there trying to give me a bad naked. Like, I ain't trying to get caught up. I don't want them to build cars with me. No rape charges. Not. She's like, baby. Right. She in a tub, like, baby. Just, you know, everybody has their tradition. Go in there and get bathed. Enjoy your time. Enjoy your bath. Whole time she got a nigga underneath her.
Oh, yeah. I was about to ask that question.
He pulled up like, you are clean, Your Highness. She's like, I'm going to need to do it one more time just to make sure. That's like the best thing because that's one of the most iconic scenes from the first movie. So, yep. That's hands down probably the funniest, best scene. Predictable, but Leslie Jones made it funny.
Okay. See, now I gotta check it out. Because like everything I'm seeing, and I know we already talked about it earlier yesterday night, but it reminds me of Black Panther because Black Panther also had a scene like this where they're in somebody else's house in America.
True. But they ain't have Lunel in there.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta check it out. I may make a follow up, but I don't know. It depends on how I feel about it. If I find it super funny or just cheesy. But
only thing they messed up because I was waiting for it is the "She's Your Queen to Be" thing. It was funny, but the song they picked was, I think it was Tiana Taylor's song, but Leslie Jones broke the ice because I'm waiting for "She's Your Queen."
Yeah.
He grabbed the mic and started singing this song. Leslie Jones like, oh man, that's my shit. You know that's my shit. I'm trying to figure out what song is this. Felt like they should have picked a song that anybody would have known.
Like a Beyonce song or
just something where it's like, oh, this thing's something. It was just a song that, unless you were a Tiana Taylor fan, I'm assuming, I ain't know. I mean, it was just funny, but I felt like they could have worked on that scene a little bit more.
Okay. They might have just settled it because they probably redid, like they could have redid that scene like 50 times and just only chose that one because it was the most funny or something. Okay.
I mean, it was pretty good overall.
I gotta go on my Amazon Prime and check it out. I will give it a watch based on it, because I wasn't planning on seeing it because I'm like the original was like no they're gonna fuck it up. I was thinking the same way, like that's one of our culture's movies. But between that and like 3 other movies, Friday
Coming to America.
What is Friday Coming to America, Martin.
I was about to say that's like I swear to God. If anybody, I would be the hardest critic. It's Friday Coming to America, and if you ever touch Martin.
Yeah, it's Martin, Boomerang, and then Harlem Nights. Yep.
It's just iconic. Right, because you can't, it's hard. Yeah. They tried.
All right. Given seen a movie, one last question. Mm-hmm. Do you think they should have tried?
No.
Now that you've seen it, do you think they should have just left it alone or made the sequel?
Left it alone.
Yeah.
I felt like I've been waiting 10 motherfucking years for this movie to come out.
Yeah.
And then it came out and I was like, oh, that was cute.
I think it's gonna come and go. It's not gonna have the same clout that the original.
Like I done seen Coming to America probably like a million times. That's like me saying Color Purple. I know every line.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna learn every line from this movie. The way they make movies now, you can't really. It's almost like a sitcom. Mm-hmm. I know every ad lib, every mannerism, every line from Martin. But if you give me another black show, I might know like, oh, I've seen this episode, but I
not
literally
gonna know it. You're not gonna know it like you would Martin. Yeah.
Verbatim. I know when it come on before they start talking what episode it is. So
you can hear 2 seconds of that theme song and be in.
Right. That's like the difference. Every other black person. I think it's more of like the storyline. It was a lot. They had to fit a lot into a 2-hour movie, which Coming to America was a longer movie with less scenes. So it's kind of like you got to live the storyline. This one went all over the place.
I think it would have did better if, let's say, if it had came out around 2000, like, give it 10 years and then
they waited too long.
Yeah,
because now you got to incorporate kids. What he been doing for 30 years?
Yeah, you have to make your story around that gap, and I just don't think, number one, kids nowadays aren't going to care about Coming to America because it's not their kind of movie. But in addition to that, it's like, I don't think any people our age was wanting this movie to come out.
Right.
Nobody was asking like, oh, when they gonna do Coming to America too? It's just like no, nobody was asking this until they seen the first trailer of it, and then it's like, let's not get our hopes up.
I was like, oh shit, but like our kids were like, hold on, he went to America to find somebody. Why can't he just go and be okay? Why he just can't go on Tinder? What they don't even know about when you actually had to go meet somebody.
See, if you were doing a remake of, I'm gonna say Coming to America, that's the joke you can play. You could be like, instead of him going to New York, picking a city on an atlas, you can just have him in a dating app, being like, oh, I'm king of Zamunda, blah 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 blah. My country does this. And you can make the joke about, oh yeah, fuck you, the Nigerian prince scam email.
Right. Like, oh, something. He catfishing you, boo. He catfishing you. The only what part of the movie confused me a little bit was hold on, I'm trying to think. So he goes back with his father. They incorporate the McDowell's thing.
Yeah,
they did. Cool. They did try to do that.
2 minutes of that. I'm glad that they did that. Did they bring back Samuel Jackson for robbing the place in part 1, or did he not even?
So what they did was, the good thing they did. They actually showed clips, like flashbacks from the old movie. So that's good. So that kind of tied it together, because like say his kids didn't know something, or like he tried to pretend like he never really gave them details about what happened. So like the barber, when she's telling the story, they'll flash back. And that was part of the nostalgia. Like all the important scenes, they flash back. Or like at the end, he goes to like McDowell's and Mops. So like only we would get that.
Yeah.
Louis Anderson, rest in peace, they must have got footage of him before he died. So they put him in there. They really tried to, I guess, pay tribute to everybody that was still alive, that I guess wanted to be a part of it. They did that. So they did a good job at that. And like, what movie where every black person ain't die?
That was one thing that kind of surprised me too, because that was something that we used to see a lot coming up in the 80s, like with Harlem Nights or Coming to America. You had those movies where you had like every black actor in it. The only other movie since those 80s movies I seen that with was Black Panther.
Right, like they really tried to have but like these real people, they like survived. Yeah. Like nobody died. I would have thought James Earl Jones, somebody would die by now. Everybody died. I mean, everybody died.
What kind of movie you are?
Everybody lived. So, and I don't think it's one person that didn't come back. Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, they could have probably paid everybody like a buttload of money to come back, and think about how many of these actors are still working like that.
Everybody,
So,
girl from Jamie Foxx show, the roles,
mm-hmm.
all the important people that's still relevant to the day was back. The only person that wasn't actually in the movie, and it may have been by his choice, they had Morgan Freeman, but I think Samuel L. Jackson would have worked for his role, but he was a robber.
Yeah. So how would you bring him in
right.
the movie? Yeah.
Morgan Freeman, Samuel L. Jackson has that kind of Capital One voice. So both of them can play roles like interchangeably. So I guess they had to pick like the next best thing because Samuel L. Jackson would have been perfect for that part. Yeah. It's just that he played the robber. That was his come up. Like he's a whole different actor.
So you can't. Yeah, you can't bring in him as somebody else and be
right.
Yeah.
But they literally brought back every iconic person from the first movie. I mean, half of them was Eddie Murphy and Austin Hall, so that wasn't hard.
Yeah, that's probably where the movie's paychecks went. Because without Eddie Murphy, you have no movie, and without Arsenio Hall, you have no movie.
Right.
All you need is them.
Oh yeah,
them two, James Earl Jones.
Who the white guy in the cab in the beginning? He ain't come back.
Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Seinfeld was coming to America. The main guy in Seinfeld.
Who the first guy that picked him up and he was like, he put all the luggage on the car. Jerry Seinfeld. Am I saying his name wrong?
No. Seinfeld was the guy who had his show. Seinfeld.
No, I'm talking about the comedian.
Yeah, that's his name, Jerry Seinfeld.
That's not him then. It's another one. He was real big for no reason because I never thought he was funny.
Okay. If I seen a picture, I'd probably know.
Yeah, you'll know. But he's the only. That's the only other big star. Because I think at that time he was up there with Eddie Murphy, but like the white, white people give more credit.
Give more credit for a lot of things that we do. Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't that motherfucker funny. I ain't never seen him stand up. So yeah, but pretty good. Pretty good.
If they made a Coming to America 3 with his son as King of Zamunda. If they, you know how Hollywood, they'll never like to make nothing new. Mm-hmm. You think this can start a new franchise of Zamunda?
I'm like, y'all taking this Corona thing and just running with it, ain't y'all? Y'all like, niggas gotta watch it. What else y'all gonna do? Netflix?
I don't know. They made Dolomite with Eddie Murphy, so.
Next is gonna be Netflix. You can only see it on Netflix. They can be like, oh yeah, so y'all just gonna trade on us. Amazon Prime will be mad as I don't know what. So no, that's too much. Less is more. Mm-hmm. Let it lie.
Okay.
I don't think this is gonna go down as a
like one of the greatest classic black comedies ever.
No. Once Tiana Taylor got in it, all I can remember, Bobby. Every time I see it, all I think about is like, no, but she did okay. Just they ain't let her talk a lot. Just dance. Do what you do best. Just dance.
Okay. That's good. All right, YouTube. You heard it here first. What was it? 8 out of 10 if you're high. 7 out of 10 if you're sober.
Yeah. If inebriation, like 7.5.
Okay. Wow. But I'm gonna be just doing more videos talking about different movies and TV shows and stuff like that. And if my cousin happens to stop by, maybe we can do another dual com like this. So if you guys like the video, comment down in the comment section. Let us know what you thought. And my name is Denonu, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.